Hey everybody, it's your boy, and today I'm going to be talking about the Angry Joe situation, because imagine subverting your expectations. One would expect that this particular situation, if you've heard about it, would be a resetting the clock kind of scenario. Well, turns out it's not. It's the complete opposite. To explain the vagueness, Angry Joe has been MeToo'd. A woman made a long Medium blog post, which I will be referring to, but not directly quoting, because it's just so long and tedious, and it's been done to death, these dissections, so I will just reference it and try to steelman her as best as I can. So this woman, Queen of the Feeders, accuses Joe of, well, sexual assault, being a depraved lunatic, being a bit sleazy. Nobody really knows, because she flirts between the lines of defamation and outright accusing him of things. I actually don't know what she's accusing him of here. She says something along the lines of, at the end of the article, that this article is made for those women that he may have assaulted, which is skirting right on the edge of defamation. She made this to be an accusation, but not really an accusation. So really, this is a character attack as opposed to an actual accusation. There's really nothing here that she outright accuses him of. She just makes him out to be a bit of a horrible person. Her story doesn't start off particularly well. She talks about how she was drunk at parties, but not so drunk that she wasn't coherent in what she was saying, but she was drunk and had a lot to drink. And she went around talking to all the people that she met, and one in particular was Angry Joe himself. No, she talked to him first, not the other way around. Isn't that interesting? He responds and he says, hey, why don't you come out to dinner with me and some other YouTubers and things like that, and we'll have a good time. Come to my panel and watch me and things like that. Now, what are we meant to get from this evidence, these DMs, that he's really bad at telling jokes, that this is flirty? She doesn't seem to care. She seems to be very reciprocal at this point. She agrees. She goes there. She goes to the panel, even though she's never watched any of his content. Why, I don't know, but I could hazard a guess. Clout. It seems to be that's why she wanted to go there in the first place. She goes to the panel, then she's whisked away by Angry Joe, right in front of her friend, which is strange. Why he would do that, and she would not say, hey, hang on, can't my mate come with us? I don't know. She's meant to be a former Marine, according to V, but she's so submissive throughout this entire episode. It's like, seriously? You don't say no through the entire thing? She really doesn't. So they go to this taxi, and then Joe thinks that he's lost his phone, so he uses her phone to ring his phone, and he finds out it's in his pocket. And then she says that he got her number from that. By the way, this is never mentioned again. So for all we know, he didn't get her number, he just used it to ring his number. Maybe he was giving her his number, not the other way around. You would think typing your own number into somebody's phone would be giving them your number. Then they go to his hotel, which apparently was not part of the deal, but he said, look, I just need to get a shower and things like that. And then he joked to her that, hey, you can join me if you want. That's apparently rape, guys. That's apparently assault. By the way, throughout this whole time, Little Joe, the little co-host that he has, was there, but then he kind of wasn't there. He disappears when that joke arrives, even though he's in the same room, from the way she writes it. And then they just start chatting after he comes out. He's fully clothed, by the way, and he just wants to show her stuff, takes a selfie with her, and apparently because it wasn't really consensual, it's a bad selfie. Whoa. Evil Joe having a selfie. And apparently he got really close up to her when showing the stuff on his phone. Because, phones are really tiny. You need to get close to show people. So then they go to this dinner. And apparently it wasn't a load of YouTubers, although it was people linked to YouTube, and it was apparently organised by YouTube, and his manager was there. And then he said, look, just pretend to be my girl or something so I can get you in, because she's obviously not a part of the guest list. As you know, if you have reserved an area, you have a guest list. So if he pretends that she's his girl, she's a +1, so it's okay, apparently. This apparently is really wrong. But hey, she got a free meal, and also she complained about him telling her to put her phone away when they're talking to a group of people, which I guess to some people is rude, and I guess it is rude. Nothing wrong with that, whatever. But anyway, they end up going to this bar, and she assumed she was going to this other bar where her mate was going to be, so that she could be safe with him. But apparently no, there's 2 bars with the exact same name, and they were going to a smaller one. Really annoyed her. And then apparently she had to give her phone and purse away in the bar. Then apparently for 7 to 8 hours she was there, and he wouldn't let her leave or something, or at the very least his behaviour suggests that he was clingy and overly attached to her and controlling. By the way, what I have failed to mention in this video is that throughout this entire time, she has a boyfriend. She's not told Joe this entire time that she has a boyfriend and he's clearly kind of interested in her. He clearly wants to get to know her more, and she's just not telling him this. Throughout this entire party, she's trying to escape him. He's being really weird and creepy, and apparently other people who were there who apparently messaged her said, oh, we didn't think anything of it. He's a member of the industry. But now we realise, on reflection, that's really, really bad, and we feel really sorry for you. What a way to throw somebody under the bus, but more on these DMs later. So anyway, eventually she manages to get away from Joe. By the way, she keeps implying throughout that he's buying her drinks. She couldn't buy her own drinks, for whatever reason. And she was just trying to hide the drinks because she didn't want to drink with him, implying that he's trying to get her drunk, maybe, possibly, to have his way with her. That's the implication that I get. Throughout the entire article, she's just assuming things, really. She gets to talk to her friend and then to her boyfriend, and then Joe confronts her about this, and I think he's beginning to suss things about her. And then he says, hang on, you're talking to your boyfriend, aren't you? She's like, no. It's like, oh, you're all the same. I meet all these women, and all they do is just use me for clout. And then apparently there was a slight commotion. Apparently she was pinned to a wall or something. And then she leaves. In fact, he lets her leave. In fact, he even offered, you know what? I will take you home. I will take you to your hotel. And she's like, no. And then she gets a purse, and then she walks 4 to 5 blocks away, and then takes the taxi home. And then says nothing about this in public for 2 years. Now, as you can tell, I am not exactly convinced of her story, and I'll tell you why. First, as I mentioned before, there was contradictions. She was drunk at the beginning when she first met him and all these other big YouTubers and streamers, but then not so drunk that she couldn't be coherent, right? So you have several drinks, but you're totally coherent. She messages him first. She doesn't tell him that she has a boyfriend. She seems to be leading him on, if you think about it. He's under the assumption that everything is fine, that she's totally consenting, that she totally wants to be there, that she's totally into him as well. He's actually taking it kind of slow in a way, and if one considers this proposition, that's not illegal. None of the things he does in this entire story is illegal. Oh, he's a little bit sleazy, according to her. Oh, he propositions her. Oh, he makes funny sexual jokes. Oh, he's just really nice to her at some point. Oh, he gets pissed off with her, that he finally susses out that she's leading him on and she just wants to get clout and to make connections. That's horrible, evil, rapist behaviour, apparently. None of this makes any sense. This is not assault. This is not rape. This is not anything. This is just Joe being Joe, according to her. But I don't think this is Joe being Joe. I think this is a concoction of a Joe. This is the evil Joe that she's got in her head. Now, why would she be attacking him now when she could have attacked him then? If she was truly under threat from him, if he truly did do something evil, well, just call the police. Seriously, you could have called the police at any time, you had your phone back. And she implies as if, like, in this bar, she was held against her will, when it's pretty clear she wasn't, by her own admission. None of this makes any sense. Nothing illegal was done. But of course, people believe this. People believe it because it's a woman, and women don't lie, remember? And when it comes to leftists, men doing things like this, even when it's clearly not illegal, when it's just a little bit sleazy, is assault. This is assault according to them. They will ruin your life for this. Now, Joe is actually going to be lawyering up. He is actually denying all of this happened, at least in the way that it appears in the article. He says that it was actually, and it seems she may be getting sued because this could be defamation. This could be libel. She shows a lot of DMs in this article, and apart from the ones where Joe and her are actually talking, she talks to people that we don't really know. We don't know their identity. They never actually mention Joe by name, so for all we know, they could be talking about anybody. This might not even be about Joe. This could be about somebody else who was there, who she's deciding will be Joe, or who she's misremembering as Joe to be charitable. Maybe they're too afraid to name him because they're throwing him under the bus behind his back. I don't know, but again, how do I know this is about Joe and not somebody else? But the thing is, Joe had this coming. He had this Me Too moment coming, not because of his behaviour, it's his politics. He allowed leftists, like her, because he himself is a leftist, to take control of the community and to basically create this environment where if a man does anything that is considered untoward or just basically inconvenient to a woman, especially a woman like her, well, they get their lives ruined. They get called rapists. They are accused of sexual assault. Whether or not the act itself is that legally or otherwise, or even if it was rape, if they describe rape, whether they did it at all. He allowed this weapon. He was the one who went up there in his videos and defended Anita Sarkeesian, attacked MRAs, attacked anti-feminists, allowed these people in to control the medium, to control the community. And then when he realises that it's beginning to affect the things he loves, like Star Wars and Star Trek, The Last of Us, and then next thing you know, the very people he defends back in 2015 come to bite him in the ass, to turn on him, to accuse him of the very things, to create a false accusation against him, the very things that he would have mocked on Twitter constantly, which he has done. Well, you get what you deserved, because you defended this behaviour, you allowed this behaviour, you enabled her. But of course, you didn't think it would be you. You didn't think that he would come after you, because you're a good boy, right? You're a good ally. You're against Trump, you're against the wall, you're against right-wingers and MRAs and all that, aren't you? You've spoken out of turn. And it is a bit interesting because he is beginning to kind of change his opinions on these kind of issues. He is slowly turning around. He calls it the agenda in his videos. When it comes to discussing Star Trek Discovery, Picard, the Star Wars sequels, and The Last of Us 2, he says there is an agenda here. The agenda is in these video games and in these TV shows and films. What is the agenda? The far left agenda, that's what he means. He just can't say it because of where he is at politically and who he hangs out with and things like that. But he is aware of it and he is criticising. And just as he's beginning to get slowly red-pilled, then all of a sudden, this article appears out of nowhere as if they're trying to tell him to shut up. You're speaking out of turn. You've said too much. Time to have your career ruined so you can say nothing ever again, or at the very least, nobody takes you seriously because you're a rapist. Again, this is just a hypothetical, that might not be the reason, it could just be purely coincidental, but it's just a little bit convenient, isn't it, guys? Angry Joe has since released a statement, and well, it's bang on the money. I won't quote from it because, it's quite long. Not as long as Queen of the Feeders, but nonetheless, I will link it in the description down below. All I can say is that he hits point after point, it's unapologetic, he clarifies things, he refutes her points, and that this statement will be his last public thing on this because now it's down to the lawyers. This is how you deal with situations like this, when it's very obvious that you have done nothing wrong. And I can't help but praise him for that. I think he's done a really good job, and other people should learn from this. But anyway, what's your thoughts on the matter? Tell me in the comments below, and until next time, it's been your boy, and I'll see you later.